PokeRamble Podcast.
This week we'll be talking about Pokemon Masters 3rd anniversary. Before that, Grafaiai reveal, very hard name to pronounce. We'll be talking about Pokemon Unite events and lots of merch that's coming up to the franchise. Yes, welcome to episode 58 of the PokeRamble Podcast. I'm your host Kamel, and joining me this week is the one, the only, Mecha Shadow 12, aka Andrew. How's it going?
It's growing great, Camille. Thanks for having me back on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's been a little while as well, hasn't it?
Well, if anything ever happens big in Pokemon Masters, I always expect a DM saying, "Hey, we got to talk about some stuff," and I'm like, "Yep, I'm here for it."
You know that Squidward meme of he's sleeping and then he just hears something, his eyes are bloodshot open, just like Pokemon Masters. That's pretty much you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything new in your life at the moment?
As of right now, I celebrated 12 years of my job, and I think it was around June-ish. So that was good. In terms of like video game stuff, not so much. Just waiting for the new Pokemon games to come out, and then just overall collecting cards from the TCG.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, nothing really. Playing some Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, fantastic game.
But other than that, no. What about you?
Can you believe it's 2 months away, this game? It blows my mind to even think of that, and it's kind of scary in the fact that generally in life that's how quickly time is going. The fact that in 2 months' time we've got a new Pokemon game. Absolutely
Already
insane.
September, like August just flew by.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's like September 1st happened, and all of a sudden, like September 2nd, now it's the 4th. It's just running away from us. But yeah, no, I'm pretty much the same as you. I'm just working in real life, and just looking forward to having my next big break with Pokemon.
Exactly.
Yeah, talking of Pokemon, this is episode 58, so it is episode Growlithe. And I just wanted to ask you, in terms of Growlithe, have you had any good memories of Growlithe, or when you think of Growlithe, is there anything that comes up?
So I have two distinct memories
Go on, hit me.
with Growlithe. First one has to be the episode with Team Rocket finding out James's past
Oh
in the
my god.
anime,
Yeah.
where he actually has a Growlithe, and it shows how he had a troubled past, even though he grew up in this, rich household, but
Mm-hmm.
that's real life. And just remembering that, and then I was always sad that he never got to use Growlithe in his actual journeys.
Yeah.
Because it would be pretty strong by now, just as an overall, but just to have that companionship.
And that relationship he had with James as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So
I
that's
didn't expect to
like
have feels this early in the episode.
well, I mean, they gave it to you. There were so many early episodes in the anime in the Kanto region that really gave you the feels. Obviously, you had like the Pikachu episode where Ash tries to give away Pikachu, and all these other episodes and everything like that. So like, it's pretty interesting when you think about it.
Yeah.
And then my second one
Yeah.
is I have a recent one is where I have a friend who insists that Growlithe is a cat and not a dog.
Oh my god. Oh.
So and I don't know, and I think she knows that it's a dog, but she says no, it's a cat, and I'm
Yeah.
like and we've actually had discussions with multiple people in the room, in like online, in the room, like, hey, it's a dog, and they're like, nope, kitty, and I'm like,
Are you
it's like at
kidding
that
me?
point, yeah,
No, never mind.
exactly.
I mean, my sort of memory of Growlithe is whenever I see a Growlithe, I'm instantly taken back various years ago, where you had the original TCG set and you had that one Growlithe card, and that art for me is just so iconic of it. And it makes me happy to think about that card and how precious it was well, how precious any of the Pokemon cards were. Like getting a Pokemon card as a kid was the best thing in the world. So yeah, Growlithe kind of reminds me of the good old days. And we had a regional variant for Growlithe from the past, from history. And I really like the design of it because it reminds me of like when I was in Japan and you saw all these like kind of like lion dog statues around the place.
Mhm.
It kind of resembles that. So yeah, Growlithe is one of those Pokemon that evokes a lot of memories for me. So yeah, that's my appreciation for Growlithe right there.
And funnily enough, something that we'll talk about later is there's the regional variant of Arcanine in the new Lost Origin card set.
Oh, hello. So we shall move on to our first segment then. In that case, talking of Pokemon, let's go to our first segment. So this segment's called Scar, let's talk about the new generation. There we go. That'll be a fitting title for it. Yeah, we got a reveal of a new Pokemon, Grafaiai, which I now nailed, but at the beginning of the show I could not say his name for the love of no money. In fact, behind the scenes I had to restart this episode and I still messed it up.
You're not supposed to tell them about that. It doesn't
No.
exist.
But we had the reveal of Grafaiai, and we had like an initial video. Well, we had pictures and then like a video of all these like markings on like trees and stuff like that, and everyone was kind of thinking, is this a regional variant of Smeargle? Is that what we're gonna get? And then shortly after, I think maybe a day or so later, we got the reveal of Grafaiai, which is the toxic monkey Pokemon. Andrew, talk to me about Grafaiai. What do you think?
Well, it looks terrifying. When you, it looks like. I mean, the fact that it's a poison normal is pretty interesting. Typing wise, but it's one of those Pokemon where you either think it's super adorable or you're like, get this thing away from me.
I saw a picture of like it was like a meme. It was like, it's so ugly. I love it, from like one of the Marvel films.
Ant-Man?
Yeah,
That's from Ant-Man, yeah.
And that's kind of I think what the general Pokemon community census is on its design. But you accidentally triggered the unknown fact of the week with Andrew, because yeah, this is the first poison normal Pokemon we've got ever. So it's a new typing we've got, which is, it gains a ghost immunity now because it's normal, but it loses its fighting resistance, so now fighting types is neutral. But yeah, it's a cool Pokemon. Is it one that you'll be adding to your team?
Well, once I start playing the game, most likely what I try to do, at least for the newer games that I've been trying to play, is I try to stick to just the regional Pokemon that are available for that specific region. So it might be. I do remember in Sword and Shield, I kept Toxel because it was
Toxel was a
electric
lot of
poison.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might add this to the team, but I might just have a whole team of Lechonks. We don't know.
The Chonk squad, like the Squirtle squad,
Exactly.
but chonkier. Well, this might change your mind. So it's got two abilities that you can get. So Unburden's the first ability, and the second ability is Poison Touch. So people who are unaware, Unburden basically means when the Pokemon doesn't hold an item, it will become faster. So for example, you give it a berry and it eats a berry during the battle, it will double its speed. And Poison Touch is when the Pokemon makes contact with the opposing Pokemon, it's got a chance of poisoning it. So you've got two very cool ability on this Pokemon, which I think will be really, really fun to use. You talked about its appearance. When I first saw it, it reminded me of like Breath of the Wild and those like bokoblins that you used to see around the world map.
Yeah, okay, I can
like,
see that.
There was like Final Fantasy 14 trailer where there's a little creature and it reminded me of that as well. So design wise, I'm kind of whatever with it. I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily like it. But I do kind of like the typing it's got, and I do like the abilities it's got, and it'll be really interesting to see competitively how people will make it work. Do you think this thing will have an evolution, or do you think this is going to be
I think it will. I mean, because since it's a monkey Pokemon, I think it probably will. Because I mean, I think it'll just have one evolution, kind of like how Toxel had only one evolution.
Like a Mankey as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd really want this Pokemon to have? Is like, do you know how we've got Smeargle and it can learn Sketch, which allows you basically to learn like your opposing Pokemon's moves. If we get this with Sketch, oh man, we're eating good. We're eating so good.
Oh man, I have a funny story about Smeargle and Sketch.
Go on, hit me.
Back in Pokemon Silver, on the original Game Boy, not Soul Silver, just regular silver.
Mhm.
Um, I cheated the system in a way where I told my friend. So you know how back then, if you did the mystery gift with a friend, then he or she appeared in the battle thing in Viridian City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had him put all his legendary Pokemon that have those very specific, like only Lugia has this, or only Ho has this
Oh,
move.
Aeroblast and all that,
Yeah,
Fire, that kind of
so
stuff.
so I put my Smeargle in there, and it learned all those moves.
Incredible, incredible. So you
Yeah,
just had just an overpowered Smeargle. Hey, you might
exactly.
get an overpowered Grafaiai if it gets sketch as well. But hey,
That's true.
we're gonna have to wait a couple of months till we know that.
Mm.
So let us move on to our next segment. To Pokemon Unite the World from Devastation. Yep, it's the Pokemon Unite segment, and yeah, you've come back into Pokemon Unite recently.
Yes, I had some of my friends who play like in the Masters and unranked.
Mm-hmm.
They were streaming it, and I was like, "Oh man, this looks really fun, and it'd be fun to play with people, you know."
Yeah.
And then it's like now that I have my Switch OLED, I can
Oh, here
play
we
it
are.
again.
Little subtle flex there. But what Pokemon do
uh,
you play currently on Pokemon Unite? What are you kind of
so
enjoying?
originally I was playing Score Bunny, but then one of my second favorite Pokemon came out, Durulidon,
Hmm.
so I started playing as Durulidon.
Nice, nice. And you faring well with it? You liking it?
Yeah, I mean, I like being a giant cannon, just shooting things from the
I'm a firing
background.
my laser. Ah.
Exactly.
Nice, nice. Well, there's lots to do currently. We've got the roadmap in front of us. So Mew has joined the game, and you can get Mew for free by doing all these mural challenges. So there are various challenges like play X amount of games on this map, or do X amount of this mode, or knock out X amount of Pokemon. And for each challenge that you complete, you can get energy towards a mural. And when you've got enough energy, you get a part of the mural. And when you get five, I think it's 5 parts. When you get all 5 parts of the mural completed, you can get Mew for free. You can also pay for Mew by exchanging gems for the mural parts, but they cost one Pokecoin per percent on one part. So I think it's roughly
Oh
about
wow.
500 or 600 gems if you want to like just
Buy
outright
it
pay
out.
for it. Yeah. We'll be getting Dodrio on the 14th, and we'll be getting Scizor / Scyther because it can go to either one on the 28th. But before we talk about that, we'll talk about that I think next week's episode. But we've got the new map. Have you tried the new map at all at the moment?
No, no, I've just been playing. I've been trying just to do the first map,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get used to the game again because I
Yeah.
know playing with Duraludon is a little bit different than playing with Score Bunny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got to like be more aware of your surroundings and kind of get
Hmm.
your positioning a bit better. While Scorpion, you're just running all over the place, just hitting people with balls. Yeah, so we got the new map, and actually I've been really enjoying it. There's a lot of experience. Rayquaza is so much better than Zapdos because you actually have a chance of winning the game even if you lose it. But yeah, again, we'll talk about that next week. I want to talk about an event that's coming up, which is really, really cool, and it's called the Legacy Trainer Showdown event. And we've got some nice key art, and it kind of shows Green, Karina, Leon, Rayhan, and Cynthia there. And the promotion tweet for this says, "Go up against classic Pokemon trainers led by the Galar region champion, Leon." And I'm so curious as to what this will be, what kind of game mode this will be. But I'm really, really happy that we've got something like this in the game. What do you think?
I mean, obviously they're playing to the fans there because they have both Cynthia and Leon as well as Leaf. So it's like from different
Green,
regions.
different from Leaf.
Oh, green.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
two
different
different
from
people.
Leaf.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
it's that's that. Okay. So sorry about that one. But I mean, the fact that you have Leon and Cynthia there is already you're catering to the fans about really strong trainers. So I mean, it'll be interesting. Like I said, anytime they add a new mode, as long as the mode doesn't take away from the other modes and it adds something new, I think it's always a plus.
Mm. I mean, one of my favorite things about Pokemon is the people within the Pokemon universe, and
Mm-hmm.
to find that we're gonna be able to interact with them again in a different way, perhaps, is really cool. And like, were you able to play the Pika Party sort of mode?
No,
Did you,
I wasn't around for that. No.
Oh, there's like a Gigantamax Pikachu sometimes that spawned in the middle. Well, always spawned
Oh,
in the
that's
middle.
cool.
I was just sort of wondering if like these battles, like you go into like a map and then you see like that trainer's Pokemon around the map and you have to try and knock him out, as fast as you can, and you have to try and survive. And I was just wondering if like Leon's Charizard will Gigantamax in the middle of the stage and you have to like try to take it out with your friends. That'd be really cool.
Or like Mega Evolution for
Yeah, well,
Guard
actually,
Jump or something.
interestingly, I guess with Green King Gigantamax with Blastoise or Mega Evolve it. Karina, you can Mega Evolve it. Cynthia, like you said, Mega Evolve it. Duraludon has got a Gigantamax form, so yeah, you could be right on that. But I'm looking very much to it, and I think next week we should be able to play it. So I'll have some thoughts and impressions then.
Yeah, Friday, September 9th.
There we go. But that's pretty much it from Pokemon Unite, unless you've got anything to say.
No, like I said, it's a fun game. I'm still I'm still not ranked yet. I'm still working on that, but I'm just trying. It's a fun game, like I said, and it's free. So why not try it out?
I mean, if there's two people, I recommend to most people, if you're trying to get more knowledge about Pokemon Unite or see how different Pokemon work and whatnot, I recommend two people on YouTube. One is Spraggles, and one is
Mhm.
Chris Heroes. They both do really excellent videos on Pokemon, showcasing their sort of abilities and moves, and they also do like breakdowns of how like a Pokemon works, and it's definitely helped me sort of move up the ladder. So yeah, if anyone's listening that's interested in Pokemon Unite, definitely give them a follow on YouTube or subscribe to them on YouTube and check out their videos. But we'll move on to our next segment. So this segment is called Merch to Do About Nothing. Yeah, just quickly talking about some new merch that's coming out. The first piece of merch that we've got is a Zoroark and Zorua statue that's launching in July 2023. So quite a whiles away yet, but you can pre-order it from Amazon Japan. And apparently it ships worldwide. So if you want to secure your Zorua and Zoroark statue, you can get it from there. I think it's in the Pokemon Japan store as well, so you can find it there too. I haven't seen it come to global just yet, so we might have to wait a little longer to see whether or not it will come. But if you have FOMO and you really want it, then yeah, you can order it through Amazon Japan. The other piece of merchandise is some history merchandise that's starting on September 10th, so that's a Saturday, and again it's exclusive to Japan at the moment. We might see it global maybe in a couple of months time, but there's things like plushies, you've got like acrylic stands, you've got a Pokeball that acts as a humidifier, you've got a very creepy like Clefairy doll, you've got some pins, you've got some TCG sort of like playmats and like what do you call them, card protectors, that's the one, and you've got like a Volo hat as well that you can get. So there's that merchandise, and then there's some Pokemon Halloween merchandise that's coming out or is actually already out. You can find this on the US, UK, and Canada Pokemon Center websites. Again, there's plushies, there's statues, there's actually clothes as well you can get, like Gengar t-shirts and whatnot, towels, just all sorts of Halloween merchandise. So yeah, check it out. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Have you heard of any sort of merch coming up that I've missed, or move on?
No, I think that's a lot because you're covering both the Halloween and then the new stuff in Japan. So I
Yeah.
think
Are you looking for any Halloween merchandise yourself, or you gonna resist temptation?
no, because I spend enough on Pokemon cards. So, and I do have a bunch of like tins and Pokeball tins from the cards that I collect.
Yeah,
So I don't necessarily look for more of those.
that's fair. That's fair. It's nice to see you've got some self control. We'll move on to our next segment. So you want to be a Pokemon Masters? That's the segment name. This one is all about Pokemon Masters, which is our topic of the show. I haven't got a jingle for that. Yeah, Pokemon Masters is celebrating its Pokemon Masters EX is celebrating its 3-year anniversary. And Mecha, What an anniversary it's been so far.
It's been insane.
I mean, where do we even begin? I mean, I've on the screen right now. You can see the 3 anniversary sync pairs, which is Sygna Suit Red and his Pikachu. You've got Ash and Pikachu, which blew my mind. And you've also got a new Sygna Suit for Cynthia. I
I
mean,
mean, it.
in terms of pairs, I mean, in terms of like what you would have wanted from an anniversary, I don't think you can go quite wrong from those three, can you?
No, you definitely can't.
No. I saw someone had posted a article from Famitsu because they were talking about the 3-year anniversary for Pokemon Masters, and they were talking about how in terms of popularity, Red and Cynthia is known amongst every single fan in the Pokemon franchise, and so they thought for the 3rd anniversary, why not go with a couple of sync pairs that everyone loves? And I think, yeah, I think that was a good decision. They talked about Ash and how they wanted to actually bring Ash into the game a year ago, but they were a bit worried about how fans would perceive him being in the game.
Yeah.
With the game being quite separated from the anime, we did get like a Jesse and James event, but you can excuse them because they were in Pokemon Yellow.
Yep.
But I'm quite happy they brought Ash into the game, and I feel like they have managed to capture his essence in this game without him being like overbearing or taking attention away from like other sync pairs.
Exactly.
I think what's interesting about Ash and his little story that we got is if you look at like all the sync pairs, other sync pairs that watch Ash's battle and whatnot, they're actually sync pairs that have never appeared like in the anime or like the Pokemon anime where Ash has been. So I think they handled that quite well, where there isn't like a Steven there pretending like he knows Ash or doesn't know Ash, because technically he's from a different universe to all these other characters. So I
Yeah.
think they handled that well. How did you find Ash's story?
Found it interesting. I mean, it's like he's thrown into this place, and then the first thing he wants to do is battle people, which is
Yeah,
who that's just Ash. That's
yeah.
that's literally that. But the good thing about it is that he's the Ash from the latest anime compared to the
Well,
beginning anime.
he's grown through all those journeys and experiences, and it's led him here at his like highest point.
Exactly.
And I thought it was quite nice that they gave Red, well, they used Red to acknowledge how strong Ash is, because Red recognized there's someone with a strong aura in the nearby vicinity and finds out it's Ash, and he's quite impressed. So I quite like that as a Ash fan as well. But I thought they did really well in terms of the anniversary stories. You also had another story with Red and Cynthia and how they're going
Hmm.
to be going head to head against each other, and how Cynthia wants to try and get any advantage she can, because she even respects how strong Red is. And as a huge Red fan, I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah, I thought that was handled really well because it's like Cynthia just taking the more, you know, tactical approach. Like, okay, I know that Red is really strong. Where does he get this power from? Like, how
Yeah.
was he when he was younger? Like, so she goes to Professor Oak and she goes to ask different people,
Mhm.
and to the point where it's just like they meet up and they're like, yeah, I know we're supposed to battle tomorrow, but we have to do this now.
You're here, we're doing it. Like,
Yeah.
so in terms of the sync pairs, I mean, we know Ash's outfit because it's popularized in the current anime. But in terms of the new outfits for Cynthia and Red, what do you think of them?
I think they're amazing. I think Cynthia looks great. I mean, but she always does.
Yeah,
Any, I think she's already been in the two other outfits,
yeah,
I believe.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, and they all come out really well.
Mm,
And then Red's outfit just looks amazing because even
yeah,
though it's technically the same type of clothing, the patterns and the colors are amazing.
yeah. I really like the black and white, and then you got the
Mhm.
sort of like how you call it, like a tinge of yellow added in there.
Yeah.
I think for me that's probably the best outfit Red's ever had in any sort of
Hmm.
media. I really really love it. I think it suits him and his partner. Um, but not they're not just there for fashion purposes. They're actually sync pairs that we can use. So should we talk about Ash to begin with?
Of course. So we have Ash and Pikachu. Obviously, Pikachu's an electric type. We'll go over some of the passive skills first. He's got Kanto Spirit. Powers up the special attack moves of all allied sync pairs by 20%. Reduces special attack move damage taken by all allied sync pairs by 25%. The more allied sync pairs of the Kanto theme you have on your team, the higher these percentages are. Each additional sync pair powers up moves by 15% and reduces damage by 3%. Maximum power up is 50%, and the maximum damage reduction is 31%. And then you have Ash's Passion. Powers up the user's moves, decreases the amount of move gauge slots the user needs to use the move by one. The user's move never misses. Now, this is interesting because it, we'll talk about the moveset later, but he has Thunder, and then I was always wondering why he never misses his Thunder. Now I know. um, Ash's Tenacity. When the user enters the battle full HP, applies Enduring Effect to it. When the user's Enduring Effect activates for the first time, the user has 1 HP remaining, applies an Enduring Effect again, effect to the user again. And then you have Initial Pinch Special Boost 2. Increases the user's special move up next effect by 2 ranks the first time it is a pinch each battle.
Which is 80% in practical terms for people wondering. 40% per special move up. Man, those are some good passives, and I kind of like the homage to like Ash's Pikachu in the anime, like how strong it is. You know that Thunder will take up one less gorge, and it's like powered up, and how like Ash's tenacity, like how resilient Pikachu's become after all those journeys. It's crazy. It's nice plot armor to have in the game as well.
Exactly. And so speaking of moves, we have Thunder. We have a trainer move, Not Gonna Lose, which is restores user's HP by approximately 20% of his maximum HP, turns the user move gauge by 6, applies the gradual healing effect to the user, applies the super effective next effect to the user, applies the damage guard next effect to the user. Then we have the first of 3 buddy moves, B Thunderbolt. The activation condition is when the user uses any move 3 times, the activation condition cannot be deactivated, never misses, uses a maximum of 6 slots of the user's move gauge. The more amount used, the greater the power of this attack. And then another trainer move is Going All Out, which is one of Ash's catchphrases pretty much. Raises the user's special attack by 4 stat ranks, raising the user's critical hit rate by 3 stat ranks. In addition, raises the user's special attack and speed by 2 stat ranks when the user's remaining HP is at half or more.
I
And
really
let's just
like the
okay.
not gonna lose synergy it has with B Thunderbolt, because someone did like the calculation, and basically the more move gauges you have for B Thunderbolt, the higher attack you'll get from it. So I think it has like a base power of 1000 if you've got like 6 slots, and with not gonna lose it gives you 6 slots as well. So basically it just allows you to have insane damage with it, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, what do you think of Red in general? I mean, being a Master Fed
Ash.
unit, you expect him to be strong, but man,
I mean, if you're gonna bring someone as legendary as Ash from an anime into this universe, you have to make sure you come correct. You
yeah,
know, it would make the fans unhappy if this wasn't a really strong pair. You
mm,
know,
mm,
and the good thing about it, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, is that Ash's Pikachu works differently than Red's Pikachu.
yeah,
And that's the best thing that I like about this pair. That's why when I pulled I pulled on all 3. Uh, I knew that I would get both because when I was looking at all the information on these, it's like these can actually work together on a team
yeah,
and actually work with each other.
yeah. I just wanted to add. So we talked about this being one of the 3 new buddy moves into this game. What do you think of buddy moves? It's quite an interesting concept, isn't it?
Yeah, because each one has a different condition and how you can actually use it, which is
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah,
And then it's like for Ash's Pikachu, he can only use it once, but with Cynthia's, she can use it multiple times if she hits the condition.
mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting, and especially when you're going into like the champion stadium about when and how to use those at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, because then realistically, if you have all 3 of these pairs, you can off type a lot of different battles because of how well they work together.
Mm. I wanted to shout out Chuckleweb because he was the guy that I took the Famitsu information from. And he says that the team wanted to add a new sort of element to the game because it's been 3 years. Obviously, we've had Dynamax and Gigantamax added, but they wanted to add something new to the game, and that's where Buddy Moves had come from. And I think they're quite the welcome addition. Really, it makes battles more interesting and makes you have to think a little bit more about how you can get those conditions activated.
Exactly. And the good thing, and the thing about it is that not everyone can Dynamax, you know?
Yeah,
So like the fact that you can add this as on top of that, um,
like an
it's
alternative
just
to Mega Evolution and Dynamax.
exactly.
Hmm. I guess the wrap up about Ash is that in terms of self-sufficiency, he's very, very good in the fact that Thunder only takes 2 sort of move gauges, so you can like spam it. You can put Ash in like any team, and you can just spam Thunder for you over and over again.
Mhm.
B Thunderbolt is just extremely, extremely broken. It does way too much damage. Um, he's a master pair, so put some Kanto Pokemon, Kanto Sync pairs with him, and he'll do even more damage. And because of his passive of being able to endure twice, in things like Champion Stadium, when the sides are like spamming AoE moves that can hit very hard, Ash can just survive them, blink, and like attack the Pokemon back, and possibly defeat it before you get knocked out, which is incredible.
And the interesting thing is when you think about it, if you want to keep, using Kanto pairs with Ash, you can add it with blue and red, the
Yes.
red Snorlax and blue's Blastoise,
Yeah.
and then the interesting thing and the one thing I love about Pokemon Masters is when you get down to it, it's a 3v3, right?
Yeah.
But you'll see trainers that have never fought together or technically could never fight together,
Yeah.
and they are. And
Yeah.
then like you'll see, and the funny thing is what a lot of people were saying is like, your own avatar has a Pikachu, so you can have a 3 Pikachu team, but each Pikachu does drastically different things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, our Pikachu can be used as a support Pikachu with like potions and stuff. So
hmm
yeah,
That's how I use mine.
yeah. I just quickly want to talk about his sync grid. I've got my own little sync grid popped up in front of
Okay.
us. I think the ones that you really want to focus on is Brain Sync 8, which powers up the user sync move when special attack is raised, which is quite easy using Going All Out. Um, you want to be using Static Shock as well, so it powers up the sync move when the target is paralyzed. So you want to bring a pair that can paralyze quite easily, or you have to rely on Thunder's sort of like RNG to get the opposing Pokemon paralyzed. Rejuvenate 6 I think is actually really useful because, like we said, B Thunderbolt wants you to have 6 slots for the user's move gauge. So if you maybe sync move and then use B Thunderbolt afterwards, you can do like 2 lots of high damage, and then also obviously I've got the sync move power ups plus 100 essentially in there. I think he's got a very good sync grid, mostly locked behind obviously 3 out of 5 as you would expect, but yeah, a very, very good sync pair to give your candies to. Ash, just in terms of the game, is one of the highest damage dealing pairs in the game, and in terms of resources, he takes very little. Yeah, that is Ash. Anything else you want to talk about Ash before we move on to our next sync pair, which is going to be Sygna Suit Red?
Yeah. One thing. So if anyone new to the podcast, they don't know that I like to EX a lot of pairs that I have.
Yes.
And so I usually like a lot of the outfits that they get or different colored outfits that they get when they EX. But to be fair, I was not really a fan of Ash's EX outfit. It looks like Pikachu with the yellow and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's cool in that aspect. But I think his outfit and then probably Reds we'll talk about later, I might switch them back to their original outfits because they just look so much better.
Yeah, I kept the original outfits, and I think that's a problem sometimes when we EX these sync pairs. Like, you get a choice when you EX them. They say, do you want to keep the new colors or do you want to go back to the old colors? And for these two, I went back to the old colors. But I think the problem is, yeah, they tried to color the EXs with the partner Pokemon, and I just think in this sort, the color's not the problem. I think it's the outfit itself. It just doesn't meld well to being like a single color. It's better when there's different accents and whatnot. So yeah, no, I totally agree.
hmm
Go back to original costumes, please. Sygna Suit Red is our next sync pair. Sygna Suit Red, Thunderbolt brackets. Do you want to talk about his passives?
Of course. So we have Suit Red, or just Red, but Pikachu again. I got the Kanto Flag Bearer, powers up the moves of all allied sync pairs by 10%, reduces attack move damage taken by all allied sync pairs by 20%. The more allied sync pairs with the Kanto theme you have in your team, the higher these percentages are. Each additional sync pair powers up the moves by 10% and reduces damage by 3%.
If I can just
Maximum.
interject there,
Okay.
just the difference between this and Ash's is that, you know, Ash focuses on special attack, and this one just focuses on both special attack and normal attack. So that's just a difference for people listening.
hmm Which is why it's good that you can use both of them. And
Yeah.
it just powers
Yeah.
up everything. Each additional sync pair powers up moves by 10% and reduces damage by 3%. The maximum power up is 30%, and the maximum damage reduction is 26%. Then you have Red's Fighting Spirit, extends the duration of electric terrain when a terrain turns into electric terrain while the user is on the field. Quickly charges the move gate when the terrain is electric terrain. Restores the user's HP whenever its Pokemon takes action when the terrain is electric terrain. Then you have Clutch Critical, except in certain circumstances, successful hits with the user's following attacks become critical hits. Pokemon moves, sync move, or max moves. And then max countdown 3 reduces the user's sync move countdown by 3 after using its max move.
Oh man, I mean, in terms of like passives, again, like these are incredible, especially the one about the electric terrain and how it extends it, because like so many times you set up electric terrain and then you have to reset up before you use a sync move. In this case, it doesn't matter. He's always going to have his electric terrain up, and you know, he's got plenty of ways of refreshing it. So I really like Red's Fighting Spirit. That's really good. Clutch Critical, it opens up team building because now you don't have to worry about bringing like crit support, because his passive will always let you crit anyway. So it's like one less thing to worry about when you're composing teams. And like max countdown, this Pikachu can Gigantamax, and you know, being able to like reduce your sync move by 3 allows you to, you know, maybe use a support EX once and then use, you know, Sygna Suit Red's sync move afterwards for even more damage before the other sync pair has even had a chance to use their first one. It's just a great kit in general.
Exactly. Like I said, it's I remember using um electric terrain in Champion Stadium, so it's like it's very interesting.
And you want to talk about their normal moves?
Of course, we have Thundershock. We have Electric Terrain, which turns the field into electric terrain. We have B Volt Tackle, which has a lot. Its activation condition when the field of plays terrain turns into electric terrain. Deactivation condition when the field of plays terrain is no longer electric terrain. Ignores passive skills that would reduce the damage of its attack. Ignores passive skills that would protect the target against a critical hit. Ignores the target's enduring effect, which I love. And the power of this move is not lowered even if there are multiple targets. Lowers the target's defense and special defense by 1 stat rank when the target is paralyzed. And then you have Spark of Victory. Raises the user's attack by 6 stat ranks. Applies the gradual healing effect to all allied sync pairs.
And then like his sync move, which is lightning fast Volt Tackle. So just the fact that the attack increases whilst in electric terrain. So on top of the electric terrain boost, it gets even more attack. It's God, this sync pair. I mean, Thundershock is whatever. We don't really need to talk about Thundershock. It's like low base power. You know,
Exactly.
the only time you're going to use it is like, well, never, unless you haven't got electric terrain. Electric terrain, very good for electric sync pairs. I mean, me and you have been using it forever in Champion Stadium to sort of help Elisa and Zebstrika, and B Volt Tackle, you know, being a move which, you know, can attack all opponents, and yet its damage doesn't decrease, because when you use AoE attacks, normally the damage is decreased depending on how many sync moves it hits, but this sync pairs it hits, but this one doesn't decrease, so it keeps its base power and attacks everybody. And then it's also an electric terrain, so it's doing so much more damage than you typically would normally do. I mean, this sync pair, honestly, it's incredible. It's just incredible. I mean, I don't know how you cannot pull on this sync pair.
We still haven't talked about the max moves because we still have max moves.
Sorry?
I said we still haven't
Oh yeah,
talked about the
sorry.
max
Yeah,
moves.
this is how. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, so we have G Max Volt Crash, which is special attack, leaves all opposing sync pairs paralyzed.
Yep.
You have Max Guard, which applies a damage guard next effect to an ally, which I don't know if you would ever use that
Yeah.
considering the other moves. And then G Max Volt Crash, which leaves all opposing sync pairs paralyzed, which
Yeah.
is a physical attack move.
Yeah. You always want to be using the physical version of it because Pikachu increases its own attack. You don't want to go for the special version. Even though the special attack is good, it's just because your normal attack is always increased more, so you want to use this bottom one. It's I mean, like we were talking about Ash earlier, but look, you pair Sygna Suit Red with Ash, and like Sygna Suit Red can paralyze opponents for Ash, so Ash does even more damage with his sync move. It's oh man, what a sync pair! What a sync pair! I'm just really happy with B Volt Tackle. I mean, being able to spam that constantly, and it always being activated because electric terrain lasts longer than normal. I mean, GG, I say.
Like I said, this we were fed with this anniversary, pretty
Yeah,
much. I mean,
for real.
as like last anniversary,
We had good
I
sync
didn't.
pairs, to be fair,
We
but
had
yeah,
good sync pairs,
yeah.
sure, but I don't really recall me like pulling on a lot of the pairs because I was like, oh, I have a pair that can do mostly that, or I have a pair that can mostly do something like that. This one, it was just like I would, like I said, Kumail and I talk a lot in the Discord. Shout out to the Discord if you love Pokemon stuff. Um, we talk about pairs and saving gems, and then as soon as they announced this, I was like, all right, time to go back into save mode.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at the kind of like the sync grid, and I straight away gave my Pikachu 2 candies. I had to because it needs to be 3 out of 5. And I've sort of picked up max conductivity, which basically turns the field of play terrain into electric terrain after using a max move. So that's another way you can activate electric terrain by using like max Volt Crash. Is it Volt Crash? Yeah, max Volt Crash. So that's another way you can get electric terrain up instead of using it from your moves. I've chosen both the sync power nodes because you want to inflict the most damage you can. You've got Haymaker, which basically the more the user's attack is raised, the more it powers up the sync move. So a free multiplier for you because Spark of Victory gives you that 6 attack ranks you need. And I've got Attack to the Max, which basically powers up the user's max move the more the attack is raised. And again, Spark of Victory gives you the attack turn 1, so it makes everything else much stronger. So that's the kind of sync grid I've gone for. I mean, it's unbelievably powerful, and in terms of like synergy, it works so well with Ash. They benefit from each other's master passives, more Ash than Red, but in terms of the paralysis that Red can provide with Ash, I mean, you will always want to bring these two together. Doesn't matter the stage, whether it be Electric Wing or not, you always want to bring those two together because they will destroy everything and anything in its path.
And you don't have to worry so much about MP. That's the good thing about both those pairs. So you have the buddy moves, you have the max moves with the red. It's just like you can put out so much damage without having to worry about MP, which is always something you have to worry about. Not so much during the regular stages, but more in the champion stadium. Because I know a lot of us who play at the max, one of the moves or one of the little challenges we take is only having 4 bars of MP instead of 6.
Yeah. Like you said, both self-sufficient as well. I mean, we don't need any crit buffers for them. They can buff their own crits. Ash through his trainer move, Red through his passive. And also, one thing about Red is that actually is going to be really good for Legendary Gauntlet or Legendary Arena because of that passive on B Volt Tackle, where he ignores like the passive skills that would protect the opponent. I mean, there's a few sync pairs that do it. You've got NN Zekrom, you've got like Lily and Lunala, but now we've got another one. It can basically probably solo it if you wanted to. In terms of that content, yeah, really good. Anything else about Sygna Red before we move on to our last sync pair?
Like I said, the only complaint I have is for the EX outfit, and everything else is amazing.
yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about someone whose EX outfit actually does look good. Sygna Suit Cynthia. Let's talk about her.
Well, first off, just the regular design of Cynthia is amazing.
It reminded me.
It,
I don't know if you've seen Fate before, but like Fate's Day Night with Saber,
yeah,
her
I
outfit
can
looks
see
like
that.
that. Yeah, it really does suit her.
To me, it reminded me of like a lot of the outfits from Pokemon Conquest.
Oh yes. Oh my god. Pokemon Conquest sync pairs confirmed? Question mark. No, I'm joking.
Oh my god! I mean, that's see that so that well, that should be another watch list, even though no one's ever talked about it since. Pokemon Conquest 2 on the
Yeah.
Switch.
Oh, like if you want to get a copy of Pokemon Conquest, you're paying a lot of money because it's out of print now. Oh man. I hope they do bring it back. Fingers crossed. But yeah, should we
We're
talk
just
about her passive skills?
exactly. So we have Sinnoh Flag Bearer,
Mm-hmm.
powers up moves of all allied sync pairs by 10%, reduce attack move damage taken by all allied sync pairs by 20%. The more allied sync pairs with the Sinnoh theme you have in your team, the higher the percentages are. Each additional sync pair powers up moves by 10% and reduces by 3%. Maximum power up is 30%, and the maximum damage reduction is 26%. Cynthia's aura. Takes the field of play zone into a fighting zone the first time the user enters a battle, each battle. Turns the field of play zone into a fighting zone after using the user's sync move. A fighting zone powers up fighting type attacks. Um, Team Fist Bump 3 has a chance 40% of restoring the HP of all allied sync pairs when the user's attack move is successful. And then you have Initial Guard. Applies the damage guard next effect to the user when it enters a battle.
So passives, I mean, this is the first time we've had Fighting Zone, so being able to come to a battle and just put Fighting Zone there is actually pretty good. The only thing I'm disappointed with is that with Red, you get extended terrain. I wish her Fighting Zone had extended Fighting Zone as well, so that way you can get to a sync move and benefit from the Fighting Zone. But this will only benefit sort of like your normal attacks with fighting type pairs, unless you use a sort of like sync countdown, maybe like Red and Snorlax, for example, to help you get your sync move off before Fighting Zone disappears. But it's a very cool way of implementing Fighting Zone, I have to say. And with Team Fist Bump, she'll be keeping all your sync pairs alive longer during a battle, so you don't have to worry too much about AoEs hitting that often.
One thing that I do with Cynthia is since I have her as an EX, I will just go ahead and sync with her first
Yes.
to get the double sync move up,
Buff, yeah.
and then I just use my Diantha and just going back and forth using my regular moves.
Sacred
Because
Sword just doing so much more damage after not only a double sync buff, but like a Fighting Zone on top of that. Crazy.
exactly.
And the good thing with Diantha, again, the synergy that you can get with different sync pairs is incredible now. With Diantha, she can debuff the opposing Pokemon special defense as well, so that's doing even more damage on top of that. It's Pokemon Masters EX, the possibilities we have. And before we talk about the moves, we should probably say it's Lucario that can Mega Evolve as well. So increases her defense and special defense after like Mega Evolves even more. So she's just a massive tank. Incredible.
Exactly.
You want to talk about the moves?
Of course. We have Vacuum Wave, just a regular 1 gauge move, no additional effect. We have Potion, restores an ally's HP by approximately 40% of its maximum HP. We have Buddy Move, which is B Aura Spear. Activation condition when the user is hit by an attack move twice. So this is different than the previous ones. Deactivation condition when this move is used. So more or less you use it and then it's deactivated. And then Never Misses applies the move gauge acceleration effect to the allied field of play. Increases the physical move up next effect of all allied sync pairs by 2 ranks. Increases the special moves up next effect of all allied sync pairs by 2 ranks.
Oh
And then it won't end here. Trainer move raises the defense and special defense of all allied sync pairs by 4 stat ranks. These stats are raised by 6 stat ranks instead when the zone is a fighting zone.
And then you've got the sync move learned by Battle Aura Sphere, which the user becomes Mega Lucario at the end of the battle. Till the end of the battle. I mean, what do you think of the moves?
I mean, this is what a tank is supposed to be, in this game. It's someone that literally you start off with a fighting zone, so you already have, instead of the 4 stat defense and 4 special defense, it's 6.
Yeah.
You have potions that you can heal. You have just a 1 gauge move to make the countdown go down faster
Mm-hmm.
as you're using Cynthia. You have the buddy move where you need to be hit twice in order to use it. So that's why that Cynthia is a tank. And then the fact that it moves move gauge acceleration, you have physical move up 2 and special move up 2.
That's
It's like
ridiculous.
it's insane.
Yeah.
The insane thing about Cynthia is you say you want to increase your fighting sync pairs, it does it, but this works with anybody.
Yeah. Exactly. You're totally right. Those special move up next and the physical move up next are huge. As we said, they're 80%, and the fact that she can keep resetting it when the activation conditions are hit again is absolutely insane. And like you said, one of the best tanks in the game, just purely because she can increase your defense, special defense to the max in one turn. It's unbelievable. I think my only criticism is I wish she had some more tech around, special attack raising and attack raising. But I guess a lot of the newer sync pairs we get these days, they do that for themselves. Like we've seen with Red and Ash, they increase their own special attack and special defense. We don't kind of need that too much.
Exactly.
I mean, there's not much else to talk about. I mean, she's just so good that she can be used with practically anybody. But I guess from her sync grid, she's got some interesting things. Like she's got the sort of like potion healing sync grid that most tanks with potion have, which is like increasing the amount that she heals or like the amount of potions that she can have. But what I would have gone for if I had her, I'm still waiting for some more gems till I can pity pull her, because I know I'm not going to get her before pity. That's just my luck recently. But she's got a vacuum wave gobsmack, so it has a chance of leaving the target confused, which is pretty nice. And she's got vacuum wave numbing blow, which has got like a 50% chance of paralyzing the opponent when she uses vacuum wave. So for like a 1 bar move and being able to confuse and paralyze opposing sync pairs, to stop them attacking you, or for them to hit themselves, is actually pretty cool. And you've got some sync pairs that benefit from targets being confused or paralyzed. For example, Serena in this game, Mallow's Serena benefits from targets being confused, so that's pretty good for her. You got Fighting Zone Triage Tank, which helps you increase your own health whilst in Fighting Zone. And you got Head Start 1, which actually helps with like the sync countdown. So maybe like paired with another sync pair, you can actually get your Fighting Zone to be able to stay around whilst another pair syncs with it. So if you want to get down to hit her sync nuke with a Fighting Zone, pick up Head Start 1, bring in like I don't know, like Ash and Snorlax, and not Ash and Snorlax, like Red and Snorlax, and you can get that fighting type sync pair off, sync move off. And then you've got Vacuum Wave Focus Group 9, which increases the allies' critical hit rate by 1 every time he uses Vacuum Wave. So you can max crit if you get the grid to 3 out of 5. So not too bad of a grid, but I wouldn't say as good of a grid compared to Ash and Red, but still a very good grid. Yeah, that's practically it for Sygna Suit Cynthia, unless you've got anything to say about her already.
Are we gonna say who you should recommend pulling on?
Go on. Let's hear your thoughts. Who do you think out of the lot?
See, this is interesting because I have all 3. So it's a little biased for me. If you had to only pick one pair to pull on,
Yeah.
I would say red.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same mind as you. I
Exactly,
think the
because
versatility he gives compared to the other two pairs is probably why you'd pick him. I mean, we've got a lot of content where the bosses are quite hard to defeat, so you need to, bring every trick of the book there. And having electric terrain, or someone that can set up electric terrain, is huge. And the fact that he benefits from his own electric terrain is also pretty huge. So not only is he good for himself, he's good for other sync pairs as well. And I think that's the big reason why I've picked him over other sync pairs. And I guess the other reason is because of the passive of ignoring enemy passive skills.
hmm
I mean, there's a lot of like battles where you have to maybe like confuse the opponent first before you can inflict damage them. Red is just like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm playing on my own terms, and that's why I would pick him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is like you can't go wrong with any of the pairs.
No.
That's what an anniversary event should be. It should be like, okay, it's three trainers you want, and either one that you pick, you're good.
Mm,
That's the way it should be. And and it's like if for some reason you're like, you know what, I'd rather have Ash, then you're fine. Or you know what, I really want just a tank of a trainer. Let me get Cynthia, because maybe my fighting sync pairs aren't great because there aren't as many, that kind of stuff. So it's like you can have various reasons on whichever sync pair to pick, and you're not going to go wrong either way.
no, no, definitely not. I guess my sort of tier list would be like Red, Ash, and then Cynthia. But like you said, like I mean, the margins you're picking between them is very, very, very like small. They're all just fantastic, and you can't go wrong. If you can only afford one of them, you can't go wrong picking any one of those. So yeah, I always say focus on master sync pairs and getting them. That hasn't changed since then. So yeah, but
Mhm.
Mecha and I's recommendation is Sygna Suit Red if you can only afford one. Um, I mean, forget the anniversary pairs. We actually got some new content as well with the third anniversary, which is the Trainer Lodge. Now this is basically a new mode where you can interact with different sync pairs. At the moment, we've got Barney, Lily, Rosa, May, N, Sycamore, Cynthia, Blue, and Silver in the trainer lodge to choose from. You need to have pulled one of these sync pairs in order to interact with them. But what have you thought of the addition of Trainer Lodge so far?
I think that if you really look at it, is it really a trainer lodge or is it Pokemon Masters dating sim?
It could go either way. Like a very basic dating sim, perhaps. But
To me, it's literally they added a dating sim slash visual novel aspect
yeah,
of the game here because literally that's what it is. And the funny thing about it is when you look at the pairs that they picked to become friends with, you have any type, like more or less every anime trope you can think of. You have Blue as the cocky rival. You have Silver as like the emo kid that you can fix. You have Cynthia, who's everyone loves. You have Rosa, the girl next door. It's like, it's really interesting because they even put Professor Sycamore for the people who like their people a little bit older.
I tell you what, where our minds at couldn't be more different. That's incredible. Here's me like, oh yeah, they've picked these ones because they're the most popular Pokemon character in these Pokemon character polls and stuff like that. And you're like basically saying, no, you've got every archetype. It's like Super Smash Bros. Everyone is here. Like, oh man, that's incredible.
It's true. Like I said, I'm looking at it right now, right? I'm looking at the pairs that they picked, and you can literally go down the list of everybody because you have N, who everyone fangirls over. You have Marnie, who everyone loves. You have May, like I said, they love these characters, but then when you bring this whole friendship aspect of it, it's more or less you're going on a date. Like I said, I'll tell you right now, I have Cynthia. I just checked my game right now. I'm at level 47
hmm
for friendship level.
hmm
And the latest thing that we did was we went to a music concert, which in itself is not a date thing, but the picture that they give for getting to that level looks like a date picture you would take on like a selfie with.
Mhm.
So it's like,
I saw someone had posted, and I don't want to give spoilers away, but you know, she mentions a piano, and it just like brings back PTSD of remembering, like, you know, when you're facing her as the champion, you hear the little piano, you're like, oh no, oh no. But it's nice to learn more about these trainers as well when you go on these quote unquote dates, and that's exactly what I wanted from the train lodge. I didn't expect the train lodge to give you stuff like items as well for, you know, getting your characters to a certain level. But I like how they've designed it to make it like something you can work towards and something you can't complete in like 2 days.
mhm.
So it incentivizes you to log in and go through these conversations with the characters to unlock, you know, these days out, or like these items you can get, or like these cards that you talked about. And have you noticed with the cards as well? And this blew my mind, when you unlock your first card, depending on how you position your phone physically, like you can see the holofoil like reflect as well. So if you
I
move
did
your
not
phone
know
to,
that. I'm about to
yeah,
check
so
that
like
right now.
an actual like Pokemon card, but if you move the card to your like left, you see like a bit more hollow on one side than the other side, and like it's the same thing with the cards that you get in the game as well. And you've got like a little trainer book where you can fill out the cards for each character. And what blows my mind about this piece of
Oh
content,
wow.
yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I couldn't believe it. I thought I was hallucinating, but it actually like works when you physically move your phone. It acts like an actual card. Um, but
That's
what,
awesome.
yeah, what I really love about the train lodge is once you get your sync pair to like level 100 dating or whatever it's called. What
Friendship
is it
level.
called? Friendship level. There we go. Friendship level 100. You can actually get a new sync pair for that sync pair. So like I
Mhm.
think Cynthia's got Gastrodon,
Yep.
Rosa's got Dewott, for example, and it gives you more sync pairs as well. So not only do you get more stories about these characters, you learn more about these characters, but you actually get rewarded at the end of it as well. And I really love that as a system. My initial thoughts is I think it was a bit overwhelming at first with all these different systems, and I don't think they're well explained.
No, they're not.
So I had to watch a video, and
Yep.
I'll put it in the description below. It's 4 minutes, but literally just tells you everything you need to know. And there's some more in-depth ones you can go out there, but I'll leave you to sort of find them. But there's also like an area where you can send your like sync pairs out, just any sync pair in general, out to get these items. And then there's a shop where you can exchange the items you get out on these expeditions for different things, and one of them is what helps you get your character to 150 level 150. So yeah, train lodge is quite important now if you want to get your characters past level 140.
That's interesting. The one thing we need to bring up as well, and maybe we might want to bring this up on another episode. What's the first sync pair you should set up to be level 150?
For me, I've chosen red and ash, both of them. I'm focusing on ash first, and I'll do red, and it's simply because they're my favorites. You know, as a big anime fan, I've always, you know, loved watching Ash going on all these different adventures, experience all these different things, and so yeah. And Red for me is like my favorite Pokemon trainer, so like I have to get him to 150. But I guess the general rule of thumb is like, you know, focus on your favorites. But if you want to go by the meta, then I think Master Sync pairs probably come first. Support probably comes first, and everything else
Hmm.
afterwards. What are you going to
Yeah,
go to
that's.
150 first?
I was thinking it was probably red
Cynthia.
first. Yeah. No, no, not Cynthia. Just like that's I love Cynthia,
Yeah.
but not. But I think red because I can use like red and maybe Sygna suit Serena. No, not Sygna suit Serena. Sygna suit. Wait, is it?
The one with
Hold
Zygarde?
on.
Yeah,
Yes.
Serena. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So I was right. I was right. Yeah, because they can do so much damage off type
Yeah,
that I want them to do more damage off.
yeah. I mean, we didn't even talk about like on type, but like I just did Champion Stadium today, 2K Master Mode.
Hmm.
Basically, you get like if you get 10,000 points over 5 battles, you get all these rewards. So I did the electric one today with a level 88 red, which is like about half of what he should be, and like a level 100 Ash, and like they absolutely obliterated the stage. So don't feel
Yep.
like you have to get any of these pairs to 150. Not really, but I mean, the higher they go, the even more broken they'll be. So Yeah.
Exactly.
In terms of the trainer I chose to sort of interact with first, I chose Rosa, and that's pretty much because I think this is the one thing that Pokemon Masters has done brilliantly is like raise the profile of some of these other trainers. Like
Yeah.
before, Rosa was just that trainer from Pokemon Black and White too, and now she's like this trainer I've gotten to know a lot more better. She was kind of like the first trainer to kind of stand out in the game through the story.
Hmm.
And she's become even more popular. She was the first seasonal pair, and yeah, so that's why I chose Rosa, personally. Um, in terms of the game, we talked about the 3-year anniversary. You kindly sent me in some questions, Mecca, about the 3-year anniversary, and you were asking sort of how long do you think this game will continue for? What do you think personally?
I mean, the fact that they're adding something this big, the Trainer Lodge,
Yeah,
aka dating sim, aka waifu slash husbando simulator.
yeah,
Um, the fact that they're adding this at the 3-year mark means that it would seem as though they want to continue this game for as long as possible.
yeah.
Are we saying Destiny 10-year plan? I don't know.
I hope
But
so.
I mean, like I said, that would be amazing because one of the things that I brought up is like if they're adding this at the 3-year, what's going to be now we're looking towards even though the technically the 3rd year hasn't happened yet because I think it's like a little bit later that the actual date
No,
is.
it's 28th of
No,
August. Yeah,
okay, so we just passed it.
yeah.
What's going to happen in the 4th year? Like
Mm.
when that's the crazy thing. The fact that I love that the developers um will continue to you speak with us. They have the letters, they have the videos. You're seeing more and more trailers as part of regular Pokemon directs,
Yeah.
which is great.
Mm.
And then the unfortunate thing is most people are like, "Oh, it's a mobile game. Who
Oh,
cares?" Uh,
the knockoff Pokemon thing. Like, no,
yeah,
guys, like it's so much cheaper than you expect.
and it's so funny because the people like this system is very similar to the system in Final Fantasy VII. So it's like,
Oh, flexing your moves like between the
yeah,
three characters.
exact
Yeah,
active
I get
time
it.
battle and everything like that.
Yeah.
So why don't you want that for Pokemon?
Mm.
you know, why don't you want to find your favorite pairs and battle with them and stuff? But that's something as the game just continues to grow. So more and more people are finding it, and then sometimes something like bringing Ash from the anime as an event, like oh wow, they're having Ash meet Red, which is something you could never do within the games, but now it's in this game. Let me find out what's going on here. Oh wow, they have all my favorite trainers. You
Yeah.
know, they have 4 versions of Cynthia, and I want them all. You
it's
know,
like
so
it's like the gauntlet, just like Thanos, just like finally I have them all. Um, I mean, I hope so too that this is a game that they'll last for years to come. Like you were just mentioning it inadvertently, but like it's a great advertisement for the other parts of Pokemon, like the other media, like the anime, for example, like you just said. I mean, they use Jesse and James to promote the Coco movie. This is good for the mainline games. I know certainly that you became more interested in the mainline games because of the different characters that you've met in this game as well, as if I
exactly.
remember correctly. So I do hope that it'll last for years to come. And in terms of like revenue, I was looking at the revenue figures, and if I remember correctly, this is the second highest mobile game revenue behind Pokemon Go. Of course, Pokemon Go makes so much more money than
Oh yeah.
anything in existence, but like in terms of this game makes a lot of money for the Pokemon company, and it's only increased compared to like when it first came out to now. I think like when it first came out, it was hitting revenue numbers of maybe like 4 million, 5 million per quarter, and now it's hitting like that kind of like 12 to 15 million per quarter. So in terms of revenue, it is like bringing in the money for the Pokemon company. So hopefully that's enough for them to be like, yeah, this is working. And like, there's merchandise of Pokemon Masters that's been in Japan exclusive, unfortunately. So we haven't had it in
Oh,
global. But you can find websites to import it in. But like, if the merchandise sells well, then they'll think, okay, this is more than just a mobile game. We can get people to buy the merchandise of the game and sort of stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot more to come. Um, what's your overall thoughts of the sort of like game as we get into year 3?
I like that they continue to change the way you play, but not in a negative way. I know that a lot of free to play games will add modes that don't feel fun or anything like that. I can literally the fact that they added something like the trainer lodge where I can literally tell people who are brand new to the game, hey, maybe you're not so into the battling part of this game. That's cool. There's a whole other mode
Yeah, no,
now.
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. That's incredible.
And the fact that obviously you're gonna have it's a gotcha game at the end of the day. You
Mm.
know, you have to save your gems for months in order to get the pairs that you want. The fact that they continue to give so many gems away, both for just playing the game and then also being very good at the game.
Yeah, it's night and day compared
Um,
to when we first started. Like they give
oh
so
yeah,
much away. Like you can afford at least one to pity on one pair a month now, essentially.
exactly. So like the fact that they're catering to, I like games that cater to everybody,
Yeah,
but doesn't in a way that doesn't hinder everyone's style of
experience.
play or
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because the fact that I could be like, cool, the legendary gauntlet is going to be up for everybody. Now, everybody, like, say if you started a couple months ago, you weren't able to experience any of those or get all of those gems. Now you can just do them all.
Mm. Oh
Like
yeah,
the
so the
fact,
legendary arena is now permanent.
hmm
So you can battle against legendary Pokemon and experience those fights, and it's really good because returning players can like experience these fights and like practice for when the gauntlet comes up, which is like a boss rush mode. And you can practice at any time. You don't have to wait for a specific time. I think the negative is that okay, you might get the gems the first time round, but now it's only going to be once, whereas when it was returning, like you used to get like 1,000 gems each time it
yeah.
returns. But I guess they'll probably make up for it with like login rewards and stuff like that. But you're totally right. Yeah.
And then you have the quality of life stuff where they made it so all the legendary events where you can get the legendary sync pairs just
Yeah.
available to everybody. So
Yeah.
I can literally just say, hey, maybe when you start off, you don't want to, you know, it's going to take you a while to actually level up your stuff, and then go ahead and try to um, pull in your favorite pairs, but you'll still be able to get some strong sync pairs, like Mewtwo or like any of the other pairs that are available. I mean, you don't have to wait until an event to show up or wait for it to turn around once every 6 months or once a year. It's available from the start.
Yeah. Totally. And I guess I kind of echo your thoughts in that the game I think has gone from strength to strength. We've got great content, more battles, more types of events. Like we said, Gauntlet, we've got Champion Stadium, Battle Villa. The events that we get in terms of story feels very engaging. All the sync pairs that we get, it keeps things fresh. We get to see characters in different outfits or like different like stories about how they got that sync pair, for example.
Hmm.
I really like the game in that aspect, and like I mean, shout out to the sound team for this game, where they just continue to release like amazing soundtracks for the game, and it's like very high quality, not something you'd typically expect for a mobile game. If you listen to Pokemon Go soundtrack, it's like very, 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 very weak compared to what Pokemon Masters gives you. So yeah, shout out to that team, and long may it continue. I mean, um, we're running long, but just quickly want to ask you two things. One is, if they were to add another anime sync pair, sort of what would you want and why? And in terms of like a mode that you want in the game, what mode would you want added to Pokemon Masters?
So I think I talk about this every time I'm on the show now,
Yeah,
but I want them to bring Orange Island to the to here, only because it's never really spoken about
yeah,
in the anime. And even though it was very fun, it was a very different thing. It's kind of like um, how Pokemon Sun and Moon had different style of gym leader battle type things.
yeah.
That's
The
literally
trials.
what, yeah, the trials. That's what it was for the Orange Islands, where it was different modes, different ways of doing a battle or a competition, um, and then you had Ash actually beating Drake, which was the league champion,
Mhm.
and how epic that was to fight his Dragonite. Um, So it's I would love to see that only, but then it's like, how do you bring that in? Because that's literally from the first, like the first couple
Well, how do you
seasons.
bring it in and not contradict the sort of game canon universe that they've got set in here? Um,
Hmm.
I guess I think you talked about that's the anime sync pair you want. I guess well I'll quickly talk into the mode I kind of want in the game, because this could link into how they bring in these sync pairs into the game. I want a mode where it's like trainer memories, and you can go back into the memories of these trainers, where maybe they'll reflect on a fight that they had, or you can fight the team that they had from their journey and stuff like that, and we can get like the story from the games maybe fleshed out a bit more in Pokemon Masters. So it would be like a mode where you can go back into, like, let's say you got Cynthia 100 out of 100, like she'll like reflect on the time that she went to Unova and relaxed at her name. Oh god, oh yeah, Caitlin's like beach house, and like you go back into that memory, and maybe you can get into a fight with Cynthia's team at that point. Like we had kind of had like the Ash sort of like sending out 3 Pokemon at a time, just Ash and his 3 Pokemon, that kind of sort of battle. So that's kind of mode I want in the game. But maybe that's what they could do for like the Orange Islands, where Ash, you can go back in Ash's memories, and you can go to like that orange island arc and do those sort of like battles or that sort of content, perhaps.
Exactly, and then
Yeah,
that just brings up anything from the anime, because Ash can just reflect on,
yeah.
hey, remember that time that we fought Butch and Cassidy from Team Rocket, and then you bring those things
Yeah,
in,
and that way it doesn't contradict the sort of game canon that they've got in this mobile game as well. That it doesn't you don't have to interfere with other sync pairs there. You can
Exactly.
separate it. It's pretty cool.
And then you can also bring some trainers that show up multiple times in the anime, like Richie.
Oh yes,
Uh,
give me Richie, give me Alan from Gen 6, give me Tobias, that overpowered guy from like Generation 4, where he should have never like won anything, and why was he even there? But like, yeah, give me those kind of trainers.
and then when it comes to an actual mode, I would
Hmm.
love to have like a Tamagotchi style mode where it's like you can raise one of your avatar's Pokemon
Yeah.
or something along those lines, kind of like similar to like the Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Yeah, or maybe, do you know how we've got like those eggs where you can hatch Pokemon and stuff like that, but they've got a very different way of powering them up.
Hmm.
Perhaps like rehaul the entire system and make it more of like a Tamagotchi kind of thing, and the way you get your sort of like egg to 5 stars is by doing that daily interaction at the trainer lodge or something like that. I think that's
I
probably
mean,
a better way of doing it.
I think that would be good because the way
Mm,
the eggs are now,
mm,
I'm not a big fan of, because it's like, okay, here's a new event, so you can maybe get one of the new styles, and maybe get the shiny version of one of them.
mm.
Um, but it's like, it just feels like, okay,
And
cool.
powering them up, like getting those things, are very limited. Like you can't
Hmm.
like farm for more, so it's a bit hard to like get multiple Eggmons to X level or X potential. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. Anything else before we move on from the Pokemon Master segment?
Another thing that I always say, it's the perfect time to get back into
You actually do
get
always say
into.
that.
I do, because it's true. Every time you bring me in when they add so much stuff. So it's just like, hey, there's so many free gems right now. There's so many pairs to pull on now that
There's so
in
many free
Command I've
pairs to get.
exactly.
Mm,
Just trying to power up your free pairs alone is gonna take you a long time. And it's just like, it's a fun game. I want people to give it an honest shot, and you'd be surprised if you how much you're gonna like it.
mm. No, I totally agree. But that's the Pokemon Masters news for now. I think I'll be bringing you back in for 2 weeks for the next event, but we'll move on to the next segment. So this is the news roundup. Just very quickly, you can get Ash's Gengar and Ash's Dragonite from the anime into Pokemon Sword and Shield using 2 codes. The first code is GENNGER0GE94, and that's running until the 15th of September. And then you can get the Dragonite, which is UMIN0KESH 1N. They'll be both in the description. That runs till the 8th of September, so you need to hurry up on that one. But they'll be both in the description or on screen now. So yeah, redeem them as soon as possible so you don't forget later on. But it's really cool that they're giving you the opportunity to have Ash's team members in your game. It has the same moves that he uses currently in the anime. So yeah, very, very cool. So Mecha, make sure you get them too.
Yeah, I gotta boot up my Switch
Yeah.
later today.
Another piece of news that I heard, less news, more than it's a rumor, but I saw somewhere that apparently they announced that they'll tell us what the next anime is going to be, or at least the title for the next anime this month. I haven't been able to corroborate that anywhere. I haven't been able to find anything that said. I looked at all of the official Pokemon feeds in Japan as well. That they haven't announced anything around an announcement for the anime. So I'm a bit skeptical of it, especially because like considering the current arc and where we are, and how there's a few more like other things that haven't been resolved yet in the anime. I don't think this would be the time to announce it, but you never know. I thought I'd just bring it up anyway, just in case it does happen. So maybe keep an eye out for some sort of anime news this month.
So
Um,
as of right now, they're currently doing the tournament, right?
so in Japan, you've got the Masters 8 tournament.
Hmm.
And I think the English version is about 6 months behind, so I'm not exactly sure where Ash is in his journey in the English version, but at least in
Uh,
Japan currently, that's where they are at the moment. Yeah,
and have they done anything with like Legends Arceus?
so Japan, um, late last year, I think it was December, they had like a 4-part series called the one they call God Arceus, or the Hallowed God Arceus, where it was basically reflecting upon sort of the history in Pokemon and how they extinct, but it was a very, very,
Mm,
very small sort of cameo from like history. It wasn't like anything big, but there was like an original sort of series for history. I think it was a 3-part series for history, so you can kind of watch that. But in terms of
gotcha.
like the kind of story that you experience in the game, no, there's nothing in that. Yeah. I was gonna say, yes, you had said to me that the Lost Origin TCG set is out on Friday, and I've got some cards up on screen of basically what we kind of both want to get. But do you want to talk about Lost Origin very quickly?
Lost Origin is shaping up to be a banger of a set.
Yes.
Um, it's insane because the good thing, interesting, you were talking about Legends, is that they have a lot of the characters from Legends
Yeah.
in as their as trainers,
Hmm.
as well as a mix of the ones from the anime,
Hmm.
and the game, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's the fact that they're showing love to both current generation Pokemon and then the historical ones
Yeah.
in the same set is always good.
Hmm.
But in terms of just, but they're bringing back for this one Trainer Gallery, which is more or less an additional way of pulling like a fun card, instead of just waiting for like the last card to be a holo or VMAX or anything like that.
Like a
But they
subset.
bring, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's more or less a subset that you can pull on within this set. So like I said, the more cards you can pull that are fun, I think is always best because
Mm.
it's like it ranges from Leon and his Charizard, which is
Yeah.
one card
Which is
I've
on
been
screen.
looking, yeah, which I've been looking at since it came out in Japan
Yeah.
and
VMAX
VMAX
Climax.
Climax
Yeah.
that I've wanted since. That's going to be a hot card because everyone loves Charizard.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have Red, which hasn't been available since some of the Sun and Moon sets. Um, you have Red with his Pikachu, and then Red both with just a regular Pikachu and then a VMAX Pikachu.
The Gigantamax Pikachu. Oh man,
Gigantic.
the pose is so good as
Hmm.
well.
And
Um.
those two cards I've been wanting since VMAX Climax.
Mm.
As well, you have the black and gold Pikachu and then a black and gold Mew VMAX, which
Hmm.
looks amazing. And then you have silver with a Crobat,
Yes.
which is crazy next to a Rose. And then so it's like there's somebody for you to pull on in this set. It
Yeah.
ranges from the games to the anime, to any different generations of the games. Um, You have a fan favorite of Nessa in there. So it's just like it's gonna be a ridiculous set
Mhm.
because there's just so many fun cards with it. And just looking at regular cards by themselves, just the some of the alt arts of Giratina looks amazing. That's
I've
gonna
got that
be
on screen as well. The guarantee is incredible.
yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's already hyped up for that. I already saw people pulling on it, and they're like, "That's the card they want to get because it just looks so amazing." You have the alternate art of Aerodactyl, um, that the Aerodactyl flying over an island that everyone's gonna pull. That's gonna cost a lot of money. Um, and then you just have just all of the regular just art where it's just like some of it looks really good, from just regular V and V Maxes. They had the additional V stars that just started recently. You have some of the Radiant cards, like the Radiant Onyx, which is gold, which looks, I mean,
It's a shame
Radiant
it's not like
Steelix.
Crystal Onyx from the anime. That'd be really
Well,
cool. Yeah.
that's one thing that, going back to what we were talking about with just Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is one thing I would love to have is a Crystal Onyx. Bring something from the anime to the games.
Mm.
That
We
would
had
be
Astro
something
Ninja,
amazing.
which was really cool.
Exactly. So, you're talking about crystallized forms. Let's get Crystal Onyx from the anime because everyone talks about it.
Point is, what Mech is trying to say is there's a lot of cards in Lost Origin that you probably want to get. You can see all of them on Poke Beach, which is sort of the site I use for DCG news and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I want the Bread and Pikachu. I want the Leon and the Charizard. I want the Akari and the Pikachu. I want the Folo as well. I want the Guarantee. I want it all, and I want it now. But I'm not going to get it all. I'm not going to get it right now. But the last piece of sort of the roundup is just to say that there is a Halloween boosters which are out, and they're like a set of 30 cards that are like reprints
Yeah.
of older sets, but they've got like a special like Halloween Pikachu mark on them.
Yeah.
So they're out at the moment. Is it like 3 cards per packet, or how does that work? Do you know?
I don't know exactly, but it's probably what it is. Like I said, I think this is really cool because one, um, when it comes to Halloween, as a whole, obviously it's like you want to give out something to the kids, and like a lot of kids now are getting back into Pokemon,
Yeah,
especially trading cards,
yeah.
and that can be expensive, especially for some of the parents.
Mhm.
I know
Talking
I
from
have
experience.
talking from experience for myself, but also my nephews are always asking about getting cards and stuff. Um, but it's a cool way of being like, hey, you have you know kids coming around, and you can give them Pokemon cards, and
Mhm.
like a lot of the younger kids, they don't know that these are older cards that are from previous sets. But I mean, it has a little Halloween emblem on them. Some of them are hollow now.
Mhm.
Um, it's something fun. Like a lot of people, don't realize it's like Pokemon is made for kids, and it should be fun for kids. It should be accessible to kids. That's the biggest thing when they have these. What breaks my heart sometimes is to see like when they just had a recent Pokemon promotion for McDonald's where you can get cards from, and you just see people scalping these things, and it's like that's these cards are meant for kids. I understand
Hey,
everyone
hey,
wants to
hey.
collect.
They're meant for me too, alright?
No, they're meant for everybody, but kids should be able to enjoy them without other
Basically, it
people.
should be easily accessible to everyone and anyone, and scalpers should just go away. Put it politely.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
it's like the fact that you can pick up a bag of these, like one bag of these to give out for Halloween.
Hmm.
And the good thing about it, it's like if for some reason you don't give them all out, you keep them to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody wins.
Basically, what Mech is trying to say is he's got his address at the bottom of this description. Go to his house for Halloween, trick or treat there. But disclaimer: you're not actually going to get Mecca's address. But yeah,
No.
um, yeah. So basically, a cool Halloween set for you to collect on, and we'll move on to our final segment. Mecca, where the Helioptile is Pokemon Sleep?
That is the $1 million question right there.
Well, I'll tell you where it is. It is on the Pokemon Center website because we have a special Pikachu figure. Would you believe? So let me just put up on screen now. We've got this sleepy mood, I think they call it, Pikachu figure, which is new on the Pokemon website, and I think that it's a hint to the fact that Pokemon Sleep is coming soon.
You think that it's a hint?
It has to be. I mean, there's Jigglypuff there as well. You know?
I wish, like I said, we've had more rumors with more that it could be Pokemon Sleep not pan out. So it's a little bit odd
No.
that.
I mean, it's confirmed at this point, right? Come on. Sleeping Pikachu on the website added recently. I mean, are you trying to tell me like 2 + 2 isn't 4?
Sometimes.
Pokemon Sleep is confirmed. Let's go.
I wish I want Pokemon Sleep because I want to be able to gain something Pokemon related
choose
while I
your words
sleep.
carefully, my friend.
I want to gain something while sleeping.
Yeah.
that's what I want to do.
Yeah. But Mecha, we're gonna have to wait till next week to find out where Pokemon Sleep is. Mecha, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at MechaShadow12. Feel free to follow me or send me a DM if you want to talk about video games, Pokemon stuff, anything like that.
Sonic Origins or Frontiers or whatever it's called. Now.
Well, Sonic Origins just came out already. Sonic Frontier is coming out. We'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, I'll wait. So if you don't know, I am also a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan. But when it comes to this new game, I'm more of a wait and see at the moment to see what's going on with it.
Exactly. So make sure you follow him to find out how distraught he is when the game actually does come out. Anything else you want to plug, buddy?
No, as of right now, I haven't been streaming lately. I've been working a lot, so I used to stream a lot. I streamed. I think the last time I was streaming a whole Dead Rising full playthrough. But as of right now, I don't have anything else to plug.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me. This has been the PokeRamble Podcast. We'll be back next week, perhaps, to talk about Pokemon Unite and the new event that's going on there. But thank you very much for listening. If you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.